As a mother, wife, business owner, Vietnamese American woman, my journey started in San Jose. I was born and raised here. And my parents came to the US in 1981. They were both refugees. And they sacrificed everything just to escape, Vietnam War, communism, for a better life. Đâm đầu vào cõi chết, like you only know death, right? But they rather face death than stay in Vietnam. Because I always ask them, like, oh my God, like, how do you guys get here? They're like, my dad was the captain of a ship for 80 people, right? Who was responsible for 80 lives in this small boat. They snuck out of Saigon. They had to pick a night where it's the darkest night ever, so they wouldn't get caught. And they would sneak out. Everybody came from different areas. They had a meeting place, and my dad had the little boat ready, and he was the captain. And then people brought water, fuel, little food, and they snuck in. They just left in the middle of the night. And they're like, I was like, oh, Mom and Dad, are you guys not scared? I get all like emotional because it's like, wow, death. Like, they catch you, there's no life, right? You're going out crossing oceans, you see nothing. The only way they were navigating was through the stars. And then, so eventually after a few days, when they're at sea, they said that the boat engine died. And then they had to get SOS. They don't know where they're at. And then eventually, American ship, allies, I believe, they came and they were in Indonesia. And we were settled there for like 6 months before they got sponsored to Santa Clara County. I'm like, wow, I'm here today because they literally knew they're gonna face death, but they risked it so that we have life. For us, it started because it's just a conversation. Everyone we knew as a relative, a friend, aunties, they worked in a nail salon. And they would tell us stories that, oh, their back hurts, the salon has bad fumes, chemicals all day. It was just a bad working environment for them, and that it was poor for their health. So then our family was just like, it's a family business, right? So we figured, everyone we knew did nails, why not create Blossom Nail Spa? So that's where it all came about, and we're like, I wanted to create a space where it was healthy and safe, and where we can help support each other, especially young immigrant women. Immigrants face a lot of challenges. Language barriers, coming into a new country you know nothing about, starting over. So it's just something that we figured we want to be that supportive system. And like my parents taught me, hey, we risk our lives for you to be here. You need to pay it forward. It makes me a very strong heart, forward-thinking leader, always do things with intentions. I always tell my staff, when you work for me, you're not going to work for me forever. I want to give you the skill set so that one day you can be your own business owner and be successful no matter what you do. Give you those skill sets, communicate, embrace it. Sometimes our culture differences, we may be very timid, very shy, but I always want to tell them, hey, we have to speak up. And I say, they come here, English is not their first language, so they may feel very intimidated, and they're like, oh, the customers might not understand me. I go, it's okay. This is that space for you to speak up, continue to use your voice, right? They might not understand you, but continue speaking up so that eventually they will have to understand you, right? So as you can see that my staff, my team here, they work quietly. They seem shy, but their strength, their resilience, nobody knows how to do nails. They have to come to a country where you learn to speak English, use these set of tools, understand the products they're using, and they they fight through it and they learn. They press on. They don't hold back. You know, I feel like, how do you put it? I have people who just come here for like 6 months, you know, to get a nail license because that's something that's easy for them to get instead of, you know, they're not privileged to go to college or have that time because they need to make money to feed their family. They come here and they learn, like computers is something totally new to them. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to use this. I say, don't worry, we'll take baby steps, one at a time. Learning to have patience and understanding that, hey, I was privileged, I was born and raised here, I went to school here, I was educated here, so I was given so much more. Think back and like, hey, they came from Vietnam, coming to a new country, you know, starting from scratch. So that's why I'm just like baby steps. So from little, one by one. Here you can see like my staff takes turn. They know how to greet customers. They're the front desk. I teach them so that they can run their own business. I say, use Blossom Nail Spa as your own vessel, as if it's yours. God, we are so resilient. We are such strong, powerful people. Like, we may be quiet, we might not speak up as much, but we're the most hardworking people ever. Through everything, like through the pandemic, during COVID, I don't know if you know, but nail salons were closed because we were not an essential business. And eventually California was able to open outdoors. And I was just like, oh no, there's no way we can work outdoors. This is just not happening. The weather, the heat, how are you gonna sit, your, you know, support, like all that. But my team was like, no, we're gonna do it. We need to do it. I need to go to work. They're like, I need the money, please. They're like asking me, please open up. And I'm like, figure a way. And I'm like, okay. So we end up making the Prune Yard here, the location here, one of the biggest outdoor nail salons you can have. We had like tons of stations out there. We had to figure out, because you know, there was like protocols. We had plexiglass, custom made for each one. It was one of those days where we won't ever forget. We always talk about, I'm like, hey, if we can work in the heat, the rain, all this, and we can push through, nothing else can stop us, you know? So that's why I said they're the most hardworking team I have. They encourage me every day too, to just like not give up. It's just, I think it's built in our culture, in our Vietnamese culture, in our DNA, that we are just very resilient. Oh yes, that's, oh my God, all my Vietnamese favorite food, all our areas where we go. So my mom would take us every weekend to go hang out there. It's a part of where I grew up at, and where all the Vietnamese community get together and get to see each other, you know, on the weekends, and just chat, how's family, you know, how's the aunties and uncles, grandmas, how's everyone doing? It's just where we get together. We came from a country that was just war and was suppressed and oppressed, but now it's like we get to see each other, be happy, and live a life, you know, and then create a better life for the next generation.